You just finished a great meal, your belly's full, and your body shifts into autopilot, reaching for the couch, the toothbrush, the coffee pot, maybe a cigarette. It all feels harmless. But the 20 or 30 minutes right after eating is one of the busiest times in your whole body, and a few of your most ordinary habits can quietly work against you, wearing down your teeth, triggering heartburn, blocking nutrients you paid good money for. The good news? Everyone is easy to fix. So let's get into the 7 things you should never do right after eating. Number 1. Lie down or take a nap. We've all felt it, that heavy, sleepy pull after a big meal, especially a holiday dinner. The couch is calling, bed is calling, and lying down sounds like the most natural thing in the world. But this might be the single most common post-meal mistake out there. When you're standing or sitting upright, gravity is quietly doing you a huge favor. It keeps the food and acid in your stomach pointed in the right direction, down and onward through your digestive tract. The moment you lie flat, you take gravity out of the game. Now the contents of your stomach, including that splash of harsh stomach acid, can slide backward up into your esophagus. That's what causes heartburn, that burning feeling in your chest, and over time it can develop into acid reflux or GERD. Health systems like Kaiser Permanente put it plainly. After you eat, wait 2 to 3 hours before you lie down, because lying down soon after eating increases your chance of heartburn. And here's a detail people miss: it isn't just about your bed. Following dinner with a horizontal movie marathon on the sofa is just as rough on your digestive system as crawling under the covers. Flat is flat. There's also the simple fact that digestion slows down when you're lying still, which can leave you feeling extra bloated and uncomfortable. Your food just sort of sits there instead of moving along the way it's supposed to, and that heavy, stuffed feeling drags out way longer than it needs to. If this becomes a nightly routine, with a big dinner, straight to the couch, then straight to bed, repeated bouts of nighttime reflux can actually irritate and damage the lining of your esophagus over the long haul. What starts as occasional heartburn can turn into a chronic problem you end up managing with medication for years. So, what should you do instead? Stay upright for at least a couple of hours after eating. If you are absolutely exhausted and have to rest, sit up in a chair rather than fully reclining, and let gravity keep doing its job. If you eat dinner and then get sleepy, fight the urge to go horizontal for a little while. And if you tend to eat late at night, try to finish your meal a few hours before bedtime. Your sleep quality will thank you, and you will wake up without that sour, acidic taste in your mouth or that groggy, half-digested heaviness. One more free tip for the chronic heartburn crowd. If reflux wakes you up at night, slightly elevating the head of your bed, actually raising the frame or using a wedge rather than stacking pillows under your neck, uses gravity to keep acid where it belongs while you sleep. Number 2. Jump straight into an intense workout. Maybe you're the opposite of the napper. You ate, you feel energized, and you want to hit the gym or go for a hard run. Hold on a second. Right after a meal, your body is sending a big share of its blood flow to your stomach and intestines to handle digestion. Think of it like rush hour. The traffic is all heading one direction, toward your gut. If you suddenly throw a tough workout at it, sprinting, heavy lifting, an intense spin class, or a hard pickup game, you're forcing your body to fight a war on 2 fronts. It has to pump blood and oxygen to your working muscles and keep digesting your food at the same time, and it simply can't fully do both at once. Something has to give. The result is cramping, painful side stitches, nausea, a sloshing feeling in your gut. sluggish performance where you just feel off, and a great chance of heartburn as all that bouncing and jostling pushes stomach acid the wrong way. In fact, digestive health specialists specifically advise against exercising immediately after you eat for this very reason. It is a known reflux trigger. Now, this doesn't mean you should freeze on the couch like a statue, and we'll come back to that at the very end because gentle movement is actually one of the best things you can do after eating. The problem here is specifically with vigorous, high-intensity exercise on a full stomach. There's a huge difference between a relaxed stroll and an all-out gym session. The fix is easy. Give your body some breathing room. A light meal or snack needs maybe 30 to 60 minutes before a hard workout, and a big, heavy meal deserves a few hours to settle. Listen to your stomach. It's a better coach than any schedule. If it still feels stuffed and heavy, your body isn't ready to perform, and pushing through it usually just makes you feel worse and perform worse anyway. You'll get a far better workout on a stomach that's had time to do its job. Number 3. Go back for seconds. The second your plate is empty, you cleaned your plate, and you're still not quite feeling full, so you reach for another helping. It's one of the most natural moves in the world, and it's also where a lot of overeating sneaks in. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. When you eat, your stomach stretches, and your gut releases a cascade of hormones, leptin, CCK, and others, that travel to your brain to tell you to put the fork down. But that message is on a delay. It takes roughly 20 minutes from the start of your meal for those fullness signals to fully register in your brain. So when your plate is empty and you still feel like you have room, that feeling might be a lie. Your brain just hasn't gotten the memo yet. If you race to a second helping right away, you can easily blow right past comfortable fullness and end up overstuffed and uncomfortable, wondering why you did that, before your body even has a chance to say stop. And there's a money angle here too. Eating only as much as your body actually needs means your groceries stretch further, you waste less food, and you're not constantly restocking the pantry to feed meals you didn't even enjoy. The trick is to slow down and give that 20-minute window a chance to catch up. Eat at a relaxed pace, put your fork down between bites, sip some water, and have a real conversation at the table instead of inhaling your food in 5 minutes flat. Eating while distracted, scrolling your phone, or zoned out in front of the TV makes this worse, because you blow past your body's quiet signals that mean that's enough, without ever noticing them. If you finish your plate and genuinely still feel hungry after waiting a bit, then sure, go ahead and have a little more. But more often than not, that short pause is all you needed to feel perfectly satisfied with what you already had, and to save the rest for tomorrow's lunch instead of stuffing it into a stomach that didn't want it. Number 4. Wash it all down with tea or coffee. For a lot of people, a meal just isn't complete without a hot cup of coffee or tea to finish it off. It's a comforting ritual. But if you struggle with low energy or low iron, the timing of that cup could be quietly undercutting you. Tea and coffee are loaded with natural compounds called tannins and polyphenols. These get a lot of love for their antioxidant properties, but they have a hidden side effect. When they hit your digestive system at the same time as your food, they latch onto the iron in that meal and form a complex your body simply can't absorb well. That iron then passes right out of you, unused. And we're not talking about a tiny effect. Studies have found that tea can cut iron absorption from a meal by anywhere from around 20% all the way up to 60% or more, and coffee by around 50%, depending on how strong it is and how much you drink. One study found that just 5 milligrams of tannins lowered iron absorption by 20%, and at 100 milligrams it knocked it down by a staggering 88%. That's a serious chunk of a nutrient you ate in good faith, walking right out the door. Now, two important pieces of good news. First, this mainly affects what is called non-heme iron, the kind found in plant foods like spinach, beans, and lentils. The heme iron in meat, poultry, and fish is barely touched, so a steak dinner is not a big concern. Second, and most importantly, this really only matters for people who are already low on iron or at risk, like those prone to anemia. For a healthy person with a balanced diet, an occasional cup with a meal is not going to wreck you. But if you want to play it safe, the solution is simple and free. Just separate them. Enjoy your coffee or tea about an hour before or after your meal rather than during it. And here is a bonus. Pairing iron-rich foods with a little vitamin C, like a squeeze of lemon or some bell peppers, actually boosts iron absorption and helps cancel out the effect. Number 5. Brush your teeth right away. This one catches almost everybody off guard because brushing your teeth after eating feels like the responsible, hygienic thing to do. And usually, taking care of your teeth is great. But the timing here really matters, and getting it wrong can slowly grind down your teeth. Here's the science. A lot of the foods and drinks we love are acidic. Think citrus fruits, tomatoes, soda, wine, coffee, even fruit juice. When you eat or drink them, those acids temporarily soften the enamel on your teeth. Enamel is the hardest substance in your entire body, but in that softened window, which lasts roughly 20 to 40 minutes after eating, it's surprisingly vulnerable. If you grab your toothbrush and start scrubbing during that exact time, you're not cleaning that softened enamel so much as scraping it away. Do that day after day, year after year, and you're looking at permanent enamel erosion, tooth sensitivity, and a higher risk of cavities. The American Dental Association and dentists across the board recommend the same thing. Wait at least 30 minutes, and ideally closer to an hour, after eating acidic foods before you brush. That gives your saliva time to do its job, because saliva is genuinely amazing at this. It naturally washes away the acids and delivers minerals back to your teeth, letting your enamel re-harden to full strength. Brush before that's happened, and you rob your teeth of their own built-in recovery system. So what do you do if your mouth feels gross right after eating and you can't stand to wait? Easy. Just rinse your mouth out with plain water. That dilutes and washes away the acids and food particles without laying a single bristle on your softened enamel. Drinking a glass of water or chewing sugar-free gum works too, because both get your saliva flowing faster. Then, once the half hour or so is up, brush like normal. It's a tiny change in timing that costs you absolutely nothing, but it protects an investment you really, really don't want to be paying a dentist to repair later. Crowns, fillings, and treatments for worn-down, sensitive teeth add up fast, and enamel, once it's gone, doesn't grow back. Number 6. Light up a cigarette. If you're a smoker, you've probably heard the old line that a cigarette tastes best or hits different after a meal. Some people even repeat a myth that one cigarette after eating somehow equals a whole pack. Let's clear that up. That specific claim isn't backed by science. But that does not mean lighting up after dinner is a good idea. Far from it. Smoking is harmful to your body at any time of day, full stop. But there is a particular reason the post-meal cigarette is a bad combination. The nicotine in tobacco relaxes the lower esophageal sphincter, the muscular valve that is supposed to stay shut and keep stomach acid down where it belongs. When that valve loosens up right after you've eaten, and your stomach is full and producing acid, you have created the perfect setup for that acid to back up into your esophagus. That is heartburn and acid reflux, the same enemy we talked about with lying down. So the after-dinner smoke isn't some harmless little reward, and it is piling a reflux trigger on top of all the well-documented harms of smoking itself. The honest fix here is the obvious one. Quitting smoking altogether is one of the single best things you can do for your health and your budget, when you add up what cigarettes cost over a year. That's a big step, and there is real support out there to help, including counseling, programs, and tools that make it more doable than going it alone. But even short of quitting, recognizing that the post-meal cigarette is actively making digestion worse is a useful reason to break the after-dinner habit specifically. Number 7. Become a total couch potato. We started this list by telling you not to lie down after eating, but don't take that as permission to plant yourself in a chair and freeze in place for the rest of the night either. Because it turns out that one of the most powerful, completely free things you can do after a meal is the opposite of resting: a short, easy walk. When you eat, your blood sugar rises as your body breaks the food down into glucose. For a lot of people, that's a sharp spike. But here's the beautiful part: your muscles can pull that glucose out of your blood and burn it for fuel, and gentle movement switches that process on. Walking activates glucose transporters in your muscles through a pathway that doesn't even need insulin to do its work. The research on this is honestly impressive. A landmark study published in the journal Diabetes Care, led by researchers at George Washington University, found that a 15-minute walk after each meal was as effective at controlling blood sugar as a single 45-minute walk. And the after-dinner walk in particular did an even better job of lowering blood sugar overnight into the next day. Other studies have found that even a 10-minute, easy-paced walk right after eating measurably blunts the post-meal blood sugar spike, and some research shows that just standing up instead of sitting helps a little. We're not talking about a workout here. We're talking about a casual stroll around the block, walking the dog, running a quick errand on foot, or just doing a few slow laps around the house while you tidy up. So instead of collapsing into the cushions the instant you finish eating, give your body about 10 to 15 minutes of gentle, comfortable movement. Keep the activity light enough that you are not stressing a full stomach. Remember, we said no intense workouts, but enough to keep things moving. It helps your digestion. It helps level out your energy so you do not get that heavy post-meal crash where all you want to do is nap. It is one of the easiest healthy habits in the world to actually stick with because it costs nothing, needs no equipment, no gym membership, and barely any time. It might just be the single highest value thing on this entire list. So there you have it. 7 everyday habits that seem completely harmless but can quietly work against your body in the minutes right after you eat. The best part is that not a single fix on this list costs you a dime. Stay upright instead of flopping down. Save the hard workout for later. Slow down before going back for seconds. Space out your coffee and tea. Rinse instead of brushing right away. Skip the after-dinner cigarette and get up for a short, easy walk. Small, simple changes, but they add up to a body that feels better and runs smoother after every single meal.